Okay, we're continuing this right away so that we stay in a synchronized pattern. This is Dr. Wendy Rowley, and this is Heart-Filled Evolution, no, episode 12. Yes, episode 12, sorry. I want to get my numbers right. Okay, I'm going to get out of the way, and we're going to continue this discussion on some of the other new things happening at the Great Shift time. Okay. Oh, good day to you, dear beings of light. This is Alienia of Cosmic Service, Pleiadian Mother of Sound. Peace be with you, peace be with you, and peace be with you. So let us continue that discussion indeed, that you have a change going on to the end of life process. And it's an upgrade to a more benevolent pattern of that. So we explained why that was and what that does and how that is kind of like an upgrade of consciousness and an upgrade of solutions coming in. Now let's talk about what is that going to do for individuals in their next incarnation, because there's more that changes. It used to be that you had to relearn everything each time you were born. But and this metaphor is not ours. It has been used by other channelers. But why is it that you can look at nature and they help the little animal along, but they seem to have a group mind? If you've ever had a series of dogs in the house or cats in the house, it's like they kind of have a group mind if you've ever really observed it. And they do. But humans haven't had that, but you're getting one. And you continue to evolve to an ever-evolving evolutionary group mind from the shift change time, the middle of a planetary system, until the part where you become, as we've started to say, an enlightened planet, and you join the galactic family of enlightened planets. And then you serve a different kind of purpose. But for now, the paradigm is changing for the individual. So when you come in, it used to be that you would have so many lifetimes of a lesson and then move on to another major lesson. Now you can learn many little lessons in a lifetime, but big overarching ones would take several incarnations. They won't. They can happen in one incarnation. Another thing that's changing is it used to be that you would need approximately 3 lifetimes of a harmonic to bring in the next upgrade that you did 4 lifetimes ago. So you would, let's say you had an upgrade of something in your energetic anatomy that your soul gave you because you had some big ahas, big healing, big consciousness shifts, whatnot. And your soul in that interim spirit body, spiritual anatomy, gave you some upgrades, whether you were aware of it or not. It used to be that you had to have 3 lifetimes after that, and then that 4th lifetime, which is basically a total of 5 lifetimes, until that came in. That's changing. You will get that immediately in the next lifetime. And that's purposeful because it helps everything move along a little faster, which is kind of what you all are asking for, which is part of the great shift. We want peace, we want change, we want countries to get along, we want solutions. And then, believe it or not, the majority of the people on the earth want this. But your news media shows you the minority. Those who are rioting, creating wars, those who are, well, wars are a big thing, but they involve countries. We don't mean to say it that way. And there's national pride and national ownership. We're not going to let that happen to our country. And that's an okay thing because no one should invade another country just to take what they have. And we don't mean to be preaching, but that's not for the best and highest good if you get down to simplicity. So their need for that kind of consciousness upgrade and that evolutionary upgrade for soul forces through the human, through this interim spirit body, and the changing faster of the spirit body. We've described, if you haven't heard it, that when you do healing, you work through the interim spirit body, and all change will happen there, and eventually the spirit body changes, and that might change like organs or sensing through the human, or sometimes spines get longer in different cultures, and there are noted changes going on. Well, that will all happen a little faster, which is purposeful at the shift change time, because it needs to. You need to move along to get the resources figured out, to get how to get along with nations, between nations figured out, to get how to get along with groups of people in areas where there's been mass migration, which is going on, which, believe it or not, happens at a high level. This one was surprised to read through Rudolf Steiner's work, a man from the Swiss-German kind of heritage, lived over in the early 19th century, late 18th century. Yes, I think we said that right. But basically the 1890s to the 1940s, maybe 1930s, somewhere in that time frame. And he had said that the migration, when it goes on such a large scale, is actually the work of the Araki, which are large groups of archangels, as he called them, and he calls them the national spirits. And this kind of information is percolated before through other profound channelers. And this mass migration you've been having going on, even though parts of it have some abuse in it and some taking advantage of it as an opportunity that isn't for the best and highest good, we'll say it that way, is actually stimulated by the archangels up out in the noosphere at the periphery of the planet. So you've got a lot of people from all different countries living in other countries now. So there has to be faster upgrades for everyone learning how to get along, because the old country wants to keep their ways and their norms, and that's understandable. But the new people want to bring in their ways and norms, and that's a little scary, because they're doing that. They're not assimilating anymore. They're bringing their whole culture in, and suddenly a part of a city is a whole different culture, and that's a little disturbing to the local people who have a heritage and an ancestry from that particular country. So the consciousness shifts need to happen a little sooner and a little faster because of all the great shift going on, because this is the great shift. So that's one of the other things that happens at the shift change time. A third thing that happens, and we're talking about these are all happening now in your next incarnation, and they happen depending upon the kind of work you are doing, the kind of upgrades you choose to get. There's a lot of juicy work going on, including this one's, and maybe where you are in your own personal evolutionary journey. So they can happen between a variety of different ways, anywhere from your next incarnation to maybe a few more incarnations to maybe up to 5 generations, and then everyone will have it in approximately 500 years, because the system is designed to percolate in to all different levels, to all different, as this one says, you're in the middle. There's always people behind you and there's always people ahead of you in the evolutionary scale of your incarnations and learning on the earth. And this is a particular way of looking at it, to paint a picture. So one of the other things that can happen in your next incarnation is that you can have an upgrade of that knowingness of just how things work and how to do things automatically. Memories of all the spiritual things you've learned. Knowingness of how to do things. If you took science courses for the first time in your previous incarnation, and as this one said, I cried in the beginning and the middle and the end of chemistry and some of the sciences she had to take. It was very hard for her because her brain in school hadn't been mapped into the sciences in her 20s. So it was having to work a whole new part of the brain. She did it, she succeeded, but it was not as easy had she done it in her 20s when the brain is more pliable. So different parts of the brain learned faster during different ages. And that's actually part of the plan because you are meant to learn different things in different segments of life. So she had to go back into a part of the brain that wasn't as active and stimulate it again. And that's okay because that served a very good purpose for her. And so you will, if you were to, let's say, and this is an example, so if you were to take that science again, it would be easier. It wouldn't be as much of a struggle. So the knowingness and the ability is upgrading, and that's part of it. So your spiritual wisdom is remembered more, your knowledge and things that you learned is remembered more, and your ability to then become and be present in a life and sort of get on the path and get a little bit more knowingness on what you want to do in that lifetime, stimulated by the soul and stimulated by the higher self and stimulated by a heart desire, all comes in a little faster. So what you're going to see in people who are being born into the paradigm is they're going to have a little bit of a deeper knowing on what they want to do in life at a younger age. And you see that a little bit now, but it's going to happen in greater and greater and greater numbers. And that's part of the great shift. So this is something profound and beautiful, and we hope you see it that way. We spoke a little bit about some other things that can be a little disconcerting that are happening out there. But our intention always is to be uplifting, to give you new and positive information, and to make you see the wonder of your human design, as this one has aptly named her doing business as website and YouTube channel. Peace be with you, and we bid you adieu.